Today, we need to talk about one of the most significant and controversial shifts in American policy that we've seen in decades. We're looking at the mass deportation campaign under President Trump. Now, if you've been following the headlines for the past year, you might think you've seen the peak of it. But according to new reports and analysis, what we saw in the president's first year was actually just the warm-up act. The real machinery of mass deportation is only just getting started. The reality is, moving millions of people was never going to happen overnight. It takes money, it takes manpower, and it takes infrastructure. But as we move into 2026, the strategy is shifting from planning to execution. And the big question we have to ask today is this going to go too far for the American public? And crucially, is it going to break American business? Let's dive in. First, let's look at the logistics. You can't deport people if you have nowhere to put them. The first year of the administration was largely about laying the groundwork. But now, thanks to funding from the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, the floodgates are opening. We're talking about a massive injection of cash, specifically designed to scale up operations in 2026. This money is going directly toward hiring more immigration agents, securing more removal flights, and buying advanced surveillance tech. But here is where it gets gritty. We are seeing old prisons, facilities that were shuttered, being reopened specifically to house migrants awaiting deportation. And it's not just brick-and-mortar prisons. We are seeing the rise of tent cities. There's a facility in Florida being dubbed Alligator Alcatraz, and another large-scale camp at a military base in Texas. The scary part? The oversight bodies, the people whose job it is to ensure safety and humane conditions, have effectively been defanged. As these camps get overcrowded, which they inevitably will, conditions are expected to deteriorate rapidly. This is the new physical reality of the policy. So, where is this happening? The strategy is becoming very clear. The administration is taking the fight to the so-called sanctuary cities. We're expecting a surge of agents deployed to places like Los Angeles and Chicago, cities that have historically limited their cooperation with federal immigration. But the rules of engagement are changing. Following recent Supreme Court decisions, seemingly indiscriminate street arrests have been upheld. This means raids are going to become much more common and much more visible in Democrat-run strongholds. This isn't just about knocking on doors anymore. It's about visibility. And with that visibility comes conflict. We should expect to see rising tensions and physical clashes between ICE agents and protesters on the streets of major American cities. The strategy seems to be shock and awe. But here's the insight that isn't getting enough headlines. This crackdown isn't just about illegal crossings. It's a total reshape of American entry. Asylum is effectively banned at the border. Legal migration is being strangled by red tape, new fees, and impossible application requirements. Fewer people are coming in, period. And this leads us to the biggest friction point, the economy. Early data out of California is showing that fear is keeping workers at home. They aren't showing up to fields, hotels, or construction sites. We are staring down the barrel of a massive labor shock. Now, usually, the business lobby would be screaming about this, but the dynamic has changed. Business leaders are terrified of the president's penchant for revenge. Instead of criticizing policies in public, they are trying to whisper in his ear over dinner at Mar-a-Lago. They are trying to say, "Hey, we're running out of workers." But right now, the immigration hardliners in the White House, led by figures like Stephen Miller, are winning that argument. They are encouraging the president to stay the course, regardless of the economic cost. This brings us to the end game, the politics. You would think a law and order approach would be popular, but the optics are shifting. Public approval for the president's handling of immigration has actually plunged since he took office. Here is the nuance. Americans generally support deporting criminals. That polls well. But Americans do not like seeing masked agents shoving peaceful families into unmarked vans on the evening news. It sits uncomfortably with the public conscience. The ultimate test is coming up in November, the midterm elections. Republicans up for re-election are in a tight spot. Do they campaign on this relentless deportation strategy? And if they do, will the voters punish them for the chaos it's causing? The administration is betting that the base will turn out. The opposition is betting that the cruelty will turn voters away. So, looking ahead to 2026, the machine is built, the funding is secured, and the hardliners are in control. But between a shrinking labor force and a public that is growing uncomfortable with the visuals of the crackdown, something has to give. Will the economic pressure force a change, or will ideology win out? We'll be watching the midterms closely to find out. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the policies shaping our future. See you in the next one.